Okay, thank you everyone for joining us as we look ahead to tomorrow's game between Delhi Capitals and Gujarat Titans. We're joining you from Pune. Thank you for joining in. As always, we request you to put in your questions in the chat box. I can see a few already. So I'm going to get started already and put them straight away to Ajit Agarkar, our assistant coach.
What was the most impressive aspect for you from the match-winning partnership between Lalit Yadav and Axar Patel, and how big of a confidence booster you think it is in terms of the depth in batting?
Oh, huge. I mean, we obviously know the depth that we have uh, in our batting, and we're still missing a couple of players who will obviously join soon. But yeah, just how they absorb the pressure. It's still a big team you're playing against, Mumbai Indians, and a couple of really top bowlers in their team, and the way the two guys absorb pressure. Good pitch, fast outfield, you knew, but it's about handling the pressure at that point. And someone like Lalit Yadav who's been around Delhi Capitals for a while now, but these sorts of pressure situations are not easy for a young player to handle. Axar has obviously been around the Indian setup, but even then, to score at what 9, 10, 11 at one point and over, it's never easy. So yeah, it gives us a huge boost, especially from the condition or the situation that we were in.
Right. And the next one, also from Niharika, how well does it augur for Delhi for the rest of the tournament that someone like a Kuldeep Yadav started the way he did with excellent figures of 3 for 18?
Huge. I mean, look, he's been a fantastic bowler over the years. Hasn't played a lot of cricket over the last 2, 3, 4 years, perhaps for in various teams, whether it's Indian team, whether it's in franchise teams. So to start as well, I mean, every time he bowls well, he's going to get you wickets, which is what we hope that he can do. You can't play a big or a long tournament like the IPL with just 11 players. So the more players that keep putting their hands up and perform, it's better for the team. So yeah, I'm very happy for him. I've been, whilst commentating, watching him, uh, you know, work as hard as anyone else, and to have a good performance at the start of the tournament can be great for his confidence as well.
Okay, I'm going to take the next few ones, but one looking ahead to tomorrow's game, it's at a new venue and against one of the two new franchises in the tournament. Your thoughts on Gujarat Titans and what you've seen so far of them in the one game that they've played?
They obviously, sort of pulled out a game towards the end. Like us, they were in a difficult situation. So when you win from difficult situation, it's always gives you that much more confidence as a team. So still early days in the tournament. Both have played just one game, new venue as well. I mean, not new because everyone's played in Pune. We saw the previous game in Pune as well. So far, apart from maybe a game, everything has been high scoring. So you expect that again in Pune. Uh, so look, the 10 teams who'll have top 11s, whether how you execute your skills on the day is what matters at the end of the day.
Okay, next one's from Rishabh Gupta, and he's asking, once the likes of Nokia, Lungi Ngidi, and Mustafizur Rahman return, do you plan on using someone like a Shardul Thakur more like a batting all-rounder?
I think he's already an all-rounder. Whether it's a bowling all-rounder or batting, it always helps. I mean, Akshar's match-winning innings, Shardul got 22 of 11 in the last game. It'll all depend on you know who plays, who doesn't play at that point. But clearly, we with Nokia already bowling in practice sessions, Mustafizur and Lungi Ngidi playing in the series that Bangladesh and South Africa played. We're obviously very happy that everyone slowly the squad's coming together, and that is what makes that first win even more special, because some of the experienced internationals were missing from that team as well. So uh, depending on the combination, everyone will have their own roles. So it might depend whether he's a batting all rounder or a bowling all rounder, but he's very important to us.
Okay, we'll move on to the next couple of them from G. Krishnan. How much of an advantage is it to be based out of one venue so that the travel is out of equation, and what does it mean extra rest or extra training time vis-a-vis having to travel?
I'm sure. I mean, and the pitches are pretty similar as well. Whether you look at Wankhede, DY Patel, or CCI, or even Pune. We haven't played in Pune, but having been from this part of the world, I know that the pitches will be good. It is a huge advantage to have your own hotel room for 2 months. Bubbles can be tough for the players, but at least you don't have to pack and get on different flights. That can be sometimes the toughest part in the IPL, because every time you play, you travel, you play, uh, especially with 10 teams now. So it is certainly. I mean, look, I'm not a player. It's much easier for me, but I'm sure if you ask any player, it's a lot easier to not the only bus or travel that we do is to Pune on a bus ride, which is what 3.5 4 hours at best. But apart from that, I'm sure it certainly helps.
Okay. The next one is, we've seen 200 plus scores being chased successfully thrice already. Do you see that as a trend? What would you say is a safe target?
We saw a couple of games now where there was a low scoring game, KKR the night before against RCB, and last night there was a big score that was chased at CCM. The one thing that there might be odd wicket that might or odd pitch that might grip, or might be slow, or might be too quick. But in general, because of the rotation of four cricket grounds, they are going to be good pitches. So it is going to be hard work for the bowlers, and sometimes you have to find a way. The dew has obviously been a factor. We haven't still played at night, so we'll find out perhaps tomorrow how big a factor it is. But it is going to be a factor, and there might be big scores in this tournament. It's just if you can score one more run than the opposition, it's good enough. But bowlers will have to work a bit harder and find a way.
Okay, we can take maybe a couple more before we close this one. We've seen uncapped players do so far quite well. We've had Lalit, of course, from Delhi Capitals, Ayush Badoni being very impressive. So far, your thoughts on any of the other DC players, uncapped ones, who you think could be really coming good during the course of the tournament?
It's so early days. I mean, we've had a superb group. I mean, I joined a little bit later, but the training's been great. There are a couple of young Delhi boys as well. I don't think it's fair to name people, but every time someone like a Lalit is a great example. You get an opportunity, and in the first game of the tournament, if you do well, exactly is what a player is looking for, maybe a franchise or the team's looking for, and that is what you want. But there are lots of young players, a lot more young players you perhaps might see because of two extra teams this year's IPL. And it's a great opportunity because you can showcase your skill, and it's a long tournament. And we've only had one game. So maybe 2-3 games into this tournament, you might have a different answer.
Okay. I'm going to take this one from Vineet from cricketnext.com. Delhi showed faith in young Kamlesh Nagarkoti, giving him the first game against Mumbai. May not have had the best game. After you've not had a good day on the field, how do you tell a young fast bowler, having been one yourself, that it's all right and this is not the end of the world?
Because it is not the end of the world anyway. I mean, he's bowled what 2 overs. Look, it is a learning thing. Just as much it is for the guys sitting in the dugout as it is for the guys playing. So he's a very talented bowler, and we expect big things from him. But the more you play, the more experience you get, the more you know how to handle situations. And we saw it. CC has a tough pitch, so you expect it to happen at times. And the team knows it, the captain knows it, the coach knows it. So it's not a thing. We know around the group what he's capable of. In the field, he was exceptional in spite of having 2 tough overs. So that experience will only help him get better going forward.
Okay, and we'll perhaps close with one on how your experience has been so far in the Delhi Capitals setup, from the time that you've been with us.
Oh, superb. I think, Ricky, James Hopes, and Praveen Amre have been here for a while. So we are learning from them as well. The new guys who've come into the setup, but I've been part of this team as a player before, so I know it's such a settled setup and so many new guys. So you can see already the progress everyone's made just to get to know each other, and that's the important thing, because it's a 2.5 month by the time you join the camp, long tournament, and that is important. I think the one of the things that stood out over the last few years in the Delhi camp is how the atmosphere has been so good and healthy, which is generally what transforms on the field when you play.
Super. Thank you so much, Ajit, for joining us, and thank you everyone for being a part of this. We will send the recording across to you in a short while. Thank you. Thanks.